I'm just at such a beautiful place right now that I had to shoot a video just to show this, and luckily I came prepared also with a topic for you today. But first have a look around here. This forest here, that's quite steep down there, but it's so beautiful here. There's a nice bench here with my stuff. Yeah, and I prepared another hopefully interesting topic for you today. Yeah, what do I call it? It's basically I would call it the 5 most important steps in self-development. And yeah, the first one is to develop and to have a purposeful vision. How do I describe the importance of this? Basically, it comes down to your motivation. And if you develop a vision for your life, this will seep through every thing of your day, of your actions, and it will become purposeful. So you will know why you're doing each of the things. You will be more motivated to keep your health in check, to eat right, to exercise, and just work on the things that are important to you, because they are brought in a bigger picture, and therefore you will have intrinsic motivation. You're no longer motivated by secondary things like money or fame or something like this. And if you want to become enlightened, this is especially important, because it will only concern you and your inner world, basically. There's nothing to show for it really on the outside. Those are very intangible things that you will gain from it. So on that spiritual path, this is especially important. Second thing I have is theory. Theory and educating yourself is so important, because without it you will get lost a lot of times. You will still get lost even though you have a lot of theory or theoretical background, but you will fast track your development and growth a lot. Just think about it. There have been so many people before you thinking about the same things, testing things out over thousands of years, and this is especially true with spiritual practices, enlightenment, philosophy and this stuff. So don't think that starting from scratch on your own will bring you more than what other people already discovered, and you will grow much faster taking the experiences and conclusions of others into account. So yeah, study to avoid traps and become more successful, and don't get frustrated so easily. And third thing is removing addictions and distractions. And I just recently learned about very subtle addictions. Of course, I don't have to tell you about the obvious ones like alcohol or drugs and TV, food, porn and such things. So it's important to get the mental addictions that are mostly only internal or cultural based also out of your system. And yeah, this requires a lot of work, because you have to think of them like highways in your brain. Whenever you have a trigger in the external world, you will run a certain program. It will just start unnoticed mostly, and you can waste a lot of time doing the same things over and over that don't get you anywhere. And yeah, so I will have another episode in the future that shows how those subtle addictions and inner mental habits really work, also not only positive but also negatively in many cases. And they are so pervading and they are almost happening in everyone that they are so hard to see. So That's the difficulty with them. Yeah. Fourth point is developing positive everyday habits. And just a short list, what this includes for me is meditation, of course, exercise, yoga, learning, fasting. I do a daily fast, not 23 hours anymore as I once did, so I'm not eating one meal only anymore because I'm now doing a lot more exercise. And yeah, lastly, for me personally, especially important, I'm now practicing dream yoga, and I make this a daily habit to remind myself of certain daytime practices and also before I go to bed and such things. So yeah, pick a few positive habits you want to start with and develop them, really make them stick. Do them for months, introduce more until you are pretty much satisfied and you've eliminated bad habits and brought in more positive ones. And then lastly, if you're on the spiritual path, it's very important to get a picture of where you're shooting for. And that could be called having a glimpse of non-egoic consciousness. Some people who are very interested in personal development, spirituality and enlightenment, they had some kind of very special experience which they couldn't explain, and you could call it an enlightenment experience. They had some very deep insight and now they want to know more about it. What was it? And maybe they felt some incredible happiness and they want to keep the state up. And yeah, one way, or what this does is it increases your chances of becoming enlightened a lot, because you will become much more motivated. And you have to repeat this on a regular basis because it's easy to forget about it. I know that. One way you can do it is with psychedelics. You might not like it, it's scary, I fear it also, but I very rarely try to have a glimpse on non-egoic consciousness again through them. So this always keeps me so motivated and yeah, just shows me what I'm shooting for and how big this actually is. It's so much bigger than you can actually imagine. If you are not on this path or haven't had an enlightenment experience, you will just say, oh, whatever, what is this thing, enlightenment? It's a hobby, an interesting hobby. I'd rather pick something else. No, if you have a glimpse into it, you will want to chase it. And yeah, having a glimpse on that from time to time to remind you also to just train your mind to perceive different kinds of reality will help you tremendously on this path. Yeah, and just for another side note, I'm here now for my exercise, combining it with a spiritual practice as well. Bad thing here, the mosquitoes, they are coming. Is walking meditation and daytime all-day awareness, which helps with dream yoga to constantly remind you that you are only perceiving the contents of your mind, and it's basically the same as a dream. It is not a dream, but just to notice the similarities and therefore increasing the likelihood of becoming aware in your dream. Yeah, this is one thing I like to combine my exercise with lately, and it's super powerful just if you concentrate on every single step and don't let your awareness slip out of the present moment. And you can always make it more challenging by introducing more senses, sounds, feelings, sensations, everything. There's so much to become aware of in the present moment. If you're seeing yourself losing yourself in monkey mind again during this practice, just introduce more and more complicated, more and more senses and impressions in the present moment and try to stay aware of them at the same time. This will is a very powerful practice. And there's a lineage of Buddhism in Japan, I think. They call it the fast track to enlightenment, and what they are basically doing is walking meditation for 15 hours a day up and down a mountain, and they do this for 2 years, and every day almost, and say you will become enlightened that way if you stay present throughout every step and or try to do it, shoot for that. So I hope you could get some motivation, positive insights and knowledge out of this video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.